Hey everyone, welcome to the Solidity Insurance Group team call. My name is Marysa Maggio. It is April 23rd of 2026. So we are officially in quarter two, well into quarter two, and really excited to be. We just wrapped up March. It was a great month. Now, really what I want to hit on today, going into April and going into the summer and making sure that we don't lose track of the basics. Now, if you've been in the business for 2 weeks, you're like, oh, I got the basics down. I don't even need, I could get me off the call. I already know all the basics. I promise you, these are things that have to be reinstilled in all of us, like at one point or another. So if you're not listening on this call, like you're on just strictly for attendance, like I love you, but you don't have to be on. Like we'd rather you just jump off. And I say that again with love. I want to make sure the people who are showing up to this call, like you want to learn. I know for me, like I get excited when I'm in a room and I have my pen and paper out. And I'm going to give everybody like 10 seconds to go ahead and get a pen and paper because we're going to get hit on essentially 10 steps back to the basics. That's what this call is going to be about. Rami and I are going to hit on different kind of areas of that, but 10 steps back to the basics. And what else I can tell you guys from being in this business so long is there might be something that's said on this call today that doesn't feel that relevant to you today, right now. But there's so many things I look back on and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I wrote that down and kept this notebook because like I'm actually looking back at my notes, right? Like that's ongoing learning. If you're only learning in the Zoom room, you're going to have major issues down the road. Like this, at the end of the day, we're all self-employed. And self-employed, we're going to hit on this heavy, but that doesn't mean we stop learning. That doesn't mean that we don't train outside of Zoom. That's setting ourselves up for long-term failure. So that all being said, guys, 10 steps back to the basics. That's what we're going to be hitting on today. I'm going to start with a few, and Rami, feel free to piggyback off of anything that I'm, going over, and, vice versa. So that being said, guys, the first one is going to be belief. Now, when I say belief, there's a couple of things that I mean. I mean, belief in yourself, right? Like, I believe I can do this. Now, a lot of us came into this business because we were like, why not us? Right? Like, we saw somebody do it and we're like, well, like, I could probably do that. Right? Like, keep that at the forefront of your brain, right? Like, the belief in yourself. Now, you might be sitting there saying, well, I don't believe in myself right now, or I feel terrible, or whatever. I don't feel right about myself right now. I hear you. I've been there many times. Sometimes what you need to do is borrow someone else's belief. What I mean by that, guys, is whoever brought you into this business and whoever you're working alongside, we don't just hire everybody. And I'm not just saying that to say that. Like at this point, we really don't. We're very selective. We want to make sure the people we're working with are attentive. They want to be here. They understand the system. They're plugged in. That person believes in you. And sometimes we need to borrow other people's belief until we believe in ourselves. Sometimes we need to borrow someone else's belief until we believe in ourselves. There's times, guys, I need to borrow Trey Honeycutt's belief in me to believe in myself. There's times I need to borrow Sean Mike's belief in me to believe in myself. It doesn't make me weak. It makes me human. But you have to be able to eternalize what's going on there. So belief in yourself, belief in the product. If you do not believe that when somebody dies, life insurance is important, you are going to fail here. Now, quick piggyback off of that. If you don't believe life insurance is going to help somebody when someone dies, I don't wish this on any of you guys, but think, have you actually experienced somebody close to you passing on? And if you have, did they have life insurance? If they did, what did it look like? If they didn't, what did it look like? I can think of so many of my friends that have passed away over the last couple of years. And the first thought I have when someone passes on is like, oh my gosh, did they have life insurance? And like, not because I'm like, oh, like, but because that's embedded in me. I know how important the product is. I know that when someone dies, there is going to be a funeral bill, and I'm not confused about it at all. 0% confused. If you can get yourself to a place of understanding that, you're winning. The reason I got into this business at barely 20 years old was because, and I got into the worst, vehicle that you could get in the insurance industry, in my opinion, was not Family First Life, obviously. It's because I lost my mom. I saw what that looked like for me and my sister. Did she have some insurance? Yes. Did she have all the insurance in the world? No. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in her 40s. I mean, not a whole lot of coverage we could have got her. But guys, my point is I understood why it was important. And sometimes we have to take a step back and actually internalize a situation or a time that we can actually see like, oh, wow, that was important. And sometimes it will be your first death claim. Last story I'm going to share on belief in the product is at the first company I worked at, I had written this woman, and we used to do a lot of accidental insurance. We would like add on accident and make it like it was like so important and everybody was going to die in an accident. There was this woman, and if you live in Massachusetts, I was out in Dorchester, and like that was like my favorite place to work. It was like Dorchester, like let's go. They loved me. They always thought I was the social worker, but then once they realized I was the insurance person, they're oh, the insurance girl's here, and that was like the best peace of mind I could get out in Dorchester. But that being said, in my first company, I walked into this woman's house, and we used to do a bait and switch. So I gave her child safety kits, and then I tried to pitch her insurance. And she's now frustrated that I'm trying to pitch her insurance because she's not mad about the life insurance. She's just mad about the approach, which I understood. That was not a lead, guys, by the way. That was not like somebody who was like, oh, I want my veteran life insurance. And I called her. No, she was like, I want my free child safe kit. I called her and I went to her house. That's how it worked at the time. I pushed this woman so hard to get insurance. She ended up getting a $20,000 whole life policy, and she had 3 children, all under the age of 10, and she put $200,000 of accident insurance, 600,000 total. So 200 per child. Okay. That's just how it worked. Now, literally, I think a month and a half later it was about. This woman was 32 years old. Okay. Didn't want the insurance. I fought her tooth and nail about the insurance. Like I never sold somebody harder than I sold her. And she died in an accident. And it was terrible, right? She has these 3 young kids. Mom's gone. Dad was never in the picture. What are they going to do? Well, now the sister has to step in, help out, takes care of the final arrangements with the 20,000 in whole life. And now are the kids set up for life? No. But do they have $200,000 each because I believed in the product? Yeah. So don't give up on your clients. Don't give up on the beneficiaries. Some of the times when I pushed hardest was when I was in someone's home and I could see visually their kids. And you might be like, okay, well, I'm talking to 80-year-old Donald, like his kid's 60, like, so like it's kind of different. Okay, sure. But they're still a person. I can think of times where my family was in a financial bind as an adult. So don't discount the product. So if you don't think life insurance is important, like get off this call. Like your belief is not, and it ain't ever going to be there, respectfully. And the system is the last thing on belief. The system. If you don't believe in the system, you don't believe that people fill forms out, you think that like, I don't know, at night, like me, Christina, maybe Devin, I'll just throw Devin in there. Devin, Heather, Jovan, Haley, and Matt Devine, we all just are up all night and we're just filling out veteran leads. And we're just like, ooh, we're going to make like, that's not how it works, guys. Believe in the system that if you put the activity in, you unmute, you get the feedback that it's going to work, right? And if you don't believe in that part, like we're missing the ball here. So first one is belief. I know I went hard on that one, but guys, belief is so important. Self, product, system. People are going to buy you. They're then going to buy the product. They're then going to buy the company. So believing in yourself and holding yourself with a stance of confidence is huge. Even in the beginning, it might feel like false confidence. I would rather speak with false confidence. You're not lying to them. You're just talking confidently, as if you've done this for years. False confidence is one of the best things you can use in the beginning. It's like your secret, I don't know. Your secret. Okay. Second is going to be your mindset. Okay. Belief, mindset coincide quite a bit. Obviously, your belief is your mindset, and vice versa. But you need to have a fortified mindset. Like you need to know, like you know, like you know, like you know. Just like we all know one day we're going to die. You need to know that this is going to work. Whatever your plan is, you need to know it is going to work. In terms of leads, this is one like I never really understood. And I think that's because I came from a company where we actually did like a bait and switch type of thing. And like they called it a lead. But like this lead is bad. That lead is bad. No. Your mindset is bad. And if you keep telling yourself and feeding that dog I promise you that dog's going to take over. Like, I promise. And guys, I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm saying this in a positive way of we have control over it. There's going to be ebbs and flows in this business. Whether you've been in the business for a day or you've been in the business for 10 years, you already know there's ups and downs in the business. You could be like all the way up here, and then Donald calls and cancels, and then all of a sudden you're all the way down here. And like you don't know what to do, and you're in like this whole rut of your brain. And it's like just get back on track. Like you're good. You're good. So mindset's going to help you essentially get through the day or not get through the day. And we all go through different things in our lives personally, guys. And how we choose to handle that in terms of translating it to work is completely up to us, right? So like if your mindset isn't like I'm going to be the boxer, not the bag, right? Like you need to have that type of mindset of like, I know this works. Just like when you know that you go home, that the water is going to turn on when you turn the sink on, that's how much you need to know that this works. Like, I know it works. Just like I know I date birth. I know it works. And when you have that mindset, you're just pushing because it's not a matter of, is it going to work? It's a matter of when is it going to work? When is it going to click? And what else I can promise you guys is in this business, sometimes typically the hardest part is your first 90 days. Once you got it, you typically got it. I don't mean like you don't need no help. I mean like you got it. Like you understand how to get from A to Z. But like you might stumble a little bit, but you understand it, okay? Like, and that's huge. So understanding the ebbs and flows is massive. If you can learn how to stay right here when things are great and stay right here when things are tough, you're the most powerful person in this business. Stay here, stay leveled. And I say be the boxer, not the bag. Christina has that written on her board and along many other things. But like, guys, if you were at convention this year or any year, like Dave Anderson, like just go back to that recording. If you need it, I'll send it to you. Like, understand like the stuff that we complain about isn't typically things we have to complain about. So every single time you go to complain, ask yourself, is this something I should really be complaining about? Or like, could there be worse problems? Because what I always fear, and this is my own personal fear, is, like if you're complaining about things you don't really need to be complaining about, God's going to give you something to complain about. And I fear that. So my point is I try not to complain about things that don't matter. Third, so number 3 is going to be behaviors. Now, when I say behaviors, I mean like, you are what you do, right? Like at the end of the day, like we all are what we do. Not what we say we're going to do, not what we're going to do next week, not what we did 2 years ago. We are what we do today. So your lifestyle equals your business. I say this a lot and I mean it. If a lot of us, if we spent more time on ourselves than we did on our business, and I don't mean like ourselves, like, oh, you're going to go like pamper yourself. Like, sure. Yes, I'm definitely like do your thing, right? But that's not what I mean. Developing yourself, like developing emotional intelligence, developing the understanding of sales, developing your psychology a little bit, like just self-development. It's something we should all want to do. And if we worked on ourselves harder than we worked on our job would reap the rewards. Wherever we go, we're going to show up there. No matter where we go, we're going to be there, right? So it's like you have to realize like whatever behaviors you're doing, everyone has their own vice, if you will, okay? Maybe you drink too much. Maybe you smoke too much. Maybe you go out too much. Maybe you're out until 5 a.m. Maybe you stay up till, 4 in the morning. Maybe whatever your behavior is that isn't working for you, try to find an alternate behavior and put it in there, right? This behavior isn't working. Every time I show up and I'm like, oh, today's going to suck. The day really sucks. Change that behavior. Show up and the day's going to be great. It's an alternate action. We're not taking the behavior out. We're replacing it with a different behavior. If you're up till 5 a.m., give yourself a reason. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. So I better get to sleep. Right? And like when I used to not be able to wake up in the morning, guys, I remember, to be honest with you, it was a problem for me till I was like, I don't know, like Christina's like, it's still a problem. No, I'm just kidding. But it was a problem for me throughout like literally my entire childhood, like waking up, like until the day my mom died, like she would call me to make sure like I was actually like at school or like where at work or where I was supposed to be because I was just really bad at waking up. Like I was like the worst. There was a time my house was on fire and I told my mom to wake me up when it was over. It's like that's where I was at mentally. But once you can realize, like, okay, that behavior of waking up at 8:30 is making me rush to get ready so that I'm on Zoom by 9 and I'm already walking into the day panicky. Okay, change the behavior, right? I'm gonna get up at 6 o'clock and whatever. Now, sometimes if you're waking up at 10, people will be like, put it back just an hour. Try to wake up at 9, then 8, then 7, then 6. Some people that works for. Other people like me, I remember Sean flat out said someone was giving me advice at the office like about waking up. This was like maybe, I don't know, like 4.5 years ago, give take. And Sean said, how about you just wake up at 5 tomorrow and then you'll go to sleep and then you'll wake up at 5 again the next day. And I was like, well, that's fair, right? So like there's different ways we can go about the behavior. I had to go about it the way that Sean said it. Just flat out like cold turkey, like, okay, I'm waking up at 5. Boom, my alarm goes, I have to get up, have to get up, have to get up. When that behavior changed, Dominique talked about this a bit last week. Waking up early, like not even for work purposes, like it just helps you. Like for whatever reason, like you just typically have a better day. Like if you can think of 3 days you woke up early and 3 days you woke up, late, like compare what happened in those days. And usually you're like, oh, wow, like when I woke up earlier, like better things actually happened throughout that day. I know I can definitely relate to that. So again, you are what you do, not what you say you do. So I always put that out there. And Rami's going to hit on number 4, which is going to be schedule.
This guy, so one of the basics for schedule, you guys write down non-negotiable. So your schedule has to be non-negotiable. I know we say it all the time, but if you literally monitor the Zoom, but not everyone has a consistent schedule. Some of you guys are on half the day, on some of the day. You guys don't show up some of the time. So the biggest thing, guys, is you want to write down, have a set structured schedule. Because without a structured schedule, there's no consistency. No consistency, you don't have steady results. Now, the numbers game we talk about, it's not a numbers game at that point because we don't have the actual activity that can go behind that where we can see is the numbers going to play out. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys is most importantly, talk to yourself and figure out, all right, what can I actually adhere to? Don't just say I'm going to dial from 8 to 8. Actually make a schedule that's realistic, right? If you guys have family, you guys have errands to do, chores, maybe taking care of a loved one, a family member, maybe someone went through a health issue. Maybe, you have to take time off to take care of a kid. That's okay, but you need to put that in your schedule and allocate the proper time to produce income. That's what we call it, income producing hours, right? Or income producing activities. So not only is dialing going to get that, but setting the proper time to allocate so you're able to dial properly. That's the first thing I'm going to talk about regarding schedule. On top of that, you guys have to start to go the extra mile. What I mean by that is at 6 o'clock at night, 6:30 my time Eastern, I can count a handful of you guys who are actually on here. And I mean that. I'm not gonna start calling out names, but there's probably about 4 or 5 people that'll be on there consistently. There's 43 people on this call right now. There should be at least 40 people on Zoom, guys, past 6 o'clock on the Zoom. Why not? We're all on this call right now. If you're down to 6, 6:30, 7, and you're putting the extra mile when you're tired and you say, hey, I had a nice day today. I made 5K in sales. I want to stop dialing early. Don't do that. Continue working, continue putting your best foot forward, and you're going to see a compounding result. What's going to happen is the work that you struggle doing, you're going to love doing it because now you're going to be excited as your brain has positive reinforcement. Every time you're working late, you make that big sale at night or that sale, it's going to connect, guys. I'm being very serious. I've done that in the business because thankfully I was in the field. I had to drag people's houses, guys, when they got out of work at 8, 9, 7:30, and I saw what that looked like when people still buy at night. So with schedule, guys, go the extra mile, work longer than you guys want to. And if you feel yourself that you're telling, hey, I'm tired, I don't have the energy, just say, yes, I do, and keep going. Okay. So the non negotiables, guys, again, a structured schedule that's realistic, that's feasible, not just saying a schedule that has to say one, make sure it's legitimate. At that point in time, rinse, wash, repeat. Every week, the same schedule. Don't change it unless there's a doctor appointment, something that's a necessity, right? Obviously, there are some things that we need to adjust to, but most time, guys, we have one physical every year. And I don't think any of us, hopefully, don't have that many health issues. So we shouldn't be going to the doctor too often, right? So my point is, again, consistent schedule and go the extra mile and make it a non-negotiable, but a realistic non-negotiable. Now, on top of that, I'm going to lead into lead flow. So lead flow, guys, is extremely important. As we all know, it's our cash flow. Without leads, there is no cash. I say it all the time. None of you would go to a store and buy grocery items in a store where everything's expired. You're not going to go to a gas station that has no gas. You're going to avoid that at all costs. That's what you guys train your brains to do when you guys don't have leads. When you guys don't have the mindset, like Marysa said, the belief in yourself that you're going to do it, the proper schedule, at that point in time, you're not going to want to buy the leads because you're not going to have the system to work it. Now, if you believe in the system, believe in yourself, you have the right mindset, you're disciplined, even if you guys buy a couple $100 every week, it's going to compound. You're going to get that sale. There's 20% guys will buy from anybody. That's not a fake number. That's a legit stat, guys. So keep in mind that lead flow has to be extremely consistent and non-negotiable. So I want everybody to truly write down a day this week that you guys are going to buy leads. I write down, guys, literally my leads hit, guys, every Monday. I get a charge for my mortgage leads. I'm sure some of you guys have some recurring campaigns, but a lot of you don't. A lot of you log on go, whatever you're doing, and you just buy right then and there. So I want all of you guys to at least, to get the results you need to, have a set date every single day of the week. It doesn't matter how fast they fill, doesn't matter how slow they fill. You buy leads 2 times a week on, let's say, Saturday, and let's call it on the Wednesday. That way, throughout the whole week, in 4 weeks, you have a compounding effect where your packs are filling, the A's leads are coming in, you're making more sales. And every month, continue the same flow. And as you sell more, you double down on the leads. I'm not saying literally times two, but add an extra order every bi-weekly. Add an extra 100, 200 A's leads into your order. Over time, the numbers will continue to go up with the profit. And then you look back and you say, oh, wow, I wrote 35K this month and I pocketed 18, 20K after the advance, the bucket, etc. So you guys need to really, really understand that without buying leads on a structured basis, like a schedule, like we clock into work, it's not going to work. So guys, buy leads like you're clocking into work, okay? That's the best way I can get that analogy, guys. And the secondary thing, master that lead. You guys don't want to start buying inbounds, working inbounds for 3 days, then buying vet leads, working vet leads for 3 days, and then going right back to inbounds. Unless you guys are selling 35,000 consistently every single month, you guys should be staying primarily on one lead source. And all of us, most of us are doing vet leads. Some of you guys are doing inbounds. Now, if that's your focus, master the lane. Don't just start doing 50-50. You're not going to have the success you're going to get. When you do master one lane, then you have the money, you can dabble into different lead types. Now, let's say if I'm working vet leads consistently for 3 months straight, I'm able to sell 25K every single month, or I start selling 20, 25, 30K. Now you can take the time to buy some inbounds, sit down and work them. But if you're not selling 20, 25,000 every month, guys, it's hard to pay lead bill and your bills. We know that. Like that's why Sean always says, right, 30K, drop dead or die. Because before it's 15, now it's 30 because things have gone up in price. So if you're not writing 30K a month, guys, again, really match that lead type. And if you're working inbounds, work at a 9 to 5. But that's a 9 to 5 job, guys. Put your headset on in front of the computer, toggle it on, and just take the calls, qualify them, don't disqualify them, and just take as much as you can. And the numbers will play itself out. But don't have one day you stop and work on vet leads. Just say, hey, I'm committing. Like do a commitment, like a college. Pick the university. You go to inbound school, do inbounds. You're doing vets, do vets, but pick the university and commit. Because once you get that scholarship, you get it once. And that's it. I hope you guys can really understand that analogy. Now, the next thing I'll talk about, guys, really is consistent with leads is going to be activity and dialing. It goes back to the schedule and just knowing that with consistent activity, right, we get the results. So activity just really means calling. And I mean actually calling. Because we can have a schedule where I log on Zoom, I can show up, put my camera on, but if I'm not unmuted and I'm not calling consistently all the time, I'm not going to be able to put the reps in to get better, expedite my learning curve. So if you guys are only putting in 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, taking a break, even though you have that non-negotiable, look back and reflect and say, okay, did I work the hours I'm going to work? Everyone should work minimally 40 hours because a W-2 job. You have to. Here should be like 80 to serious, 60 to 80. But in reality, if you think about it, if I show up at 9, I call till 6, right? That's between what, like 8 hours right there. Now you do that every single day, 7 days a week. You're crossing guys right there 50, 60 hours. So that's not hard to do. The point is to actually call when you're actually in front of the computer. Because a lot of the time I look at the agents and you guys are just on the phone scrolling. And some of you will say, well, no one's answering. Then unmute, let's hear the phone ring, and I'll believe that. But until you guys are unmuted and I'm hearing the phone ringing, and all of us are, and we actually hear the client's voicemail, you, etc., you guys may not be always putting in that work. I'm not trying to say like you guys are sitting there being lazy. What I'm saying is try not to be lazy. Try on that time when you want to look at your phone and scroll through Instagram, or you're seeing the same names over and over again. Just say, it's okay. I'm going to put my head down and get to work. Because I know in this business, guys, one sale can change our lives. It really can. Like, it's just take one sale to turn everything around. And any of you guys that have doubt on this call today, anyone that's struggling, going through a tough time, I really mean it. It can take one single person, one phone call, and all of a sudden your whole life changes. But you're not going to get that phone call if you don't have the consistent schedule with the proper mindset, proper belief, and the right activity to move forward. But not only guys activity and dialing, make your environment a rolling university. Marysa will touch on that momentarily, but what you want to do, guys, is keep learning, educate yourselves. Like, guys, I learn every day, and like I can sell anyone. I mean that. I'm not trying to be cocky, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm confident in my sales skills. You guys should be that way too. Now, when it comes down to the script and etc., you guys need to make sure that if you're not learning, at least know your script to a point where if I put my gun to my head, or Maurice's head, or Christina's head, Heather's head, and I said, I'm not gonna today. If you can't read your script 90% without any script in front of you, having memorized, you're gonna die. Can you? I want all of you to think if I had a gun to my head right now, and I told you guys, hey, unmute all of you and read your script without any piece of paper in front of you. Are you gonna be 90% accurate, or are you guys gonna fail? I have a feeling that some of you will fail. So you guys want to make sure that you're memorizing the script. So when you get to objections, you get to rebuttals, you're able to focus on what actually needs to make the sale. Because guys, that script, that's not going to make the sale. Connecting with the client, building that rapport, getting the need, the who, the what, the where, the when, finding out why they actually need it, not for final expense coverage, but to make sure my wife Marysa, when she passes away, her sister Christina is taken care of. No one's going to the bank and taking out money from the savings. Okay, you guys don't even have savings in the bank account. So no savings in the bank, no life insurance. You guys are retired. You guys are on a fixed income. And if someone dies, you have to come up with 10 or 20K out of pocket. To us guys in our business, we look at 10,000 like it's nothing sometimes. We see all these issue paid numbers at AP. That's a lot of freaking money, people, guys. Like, think about it. The average American makes what, 50K a year or 45,000 a year? So 10,000 of that, guys, is a decent chunk. So in all reality, treat everyone like it's a family. And that's my point I'm trying to get to. But most importantly, you want to know your script to the point where you can handle the rebuttal and the objection, where you can build value, where the questions you're having are not combative questions. They're not questions where the client is arguing you. They're where they're understanding you. They're telling you why they need it because they do understand that, yeah, shit will hit the fan if I die. And I did make this request to make sure that when I do pass away, everything I just told that connects that person's real life doesn't happen. So don't make it surface level. Make sure you're digging deep, guys, especially when you're going through the presentation process, or we'll touch on momentarily. And then tonality. What I'm gonna touch on here is tonality and cadence, guys. Tonality is really important. In the first 10 seconds, you have to have a strong tonality. You can't, pitch something and say, it's gonna be $20,000 and it's gonna be $100 a month. You can't do that. The client's gonna hear your insecurity. They're gonna know you're not confident. Like Marysa just said, she said, fake it till you make it, basically, right? False confidence. When you're pitching, make sure your inflection's there. Make sure when you guys are going through the script, you have strong tonality. Make sure you guys are going through the script at the same time. You guys have Audrey, can you mute? All right. So guys, make sure that when you guys are going through the script, you guys have a strong tonality. Where you're talking to the client, mirror them, have a good cadence, and rinse, wash, repeat it. So what that means is, guys, if we record you, I know you guys hear me say this all the time, but 9 out of 10 presentations should sound exactly the same, about 95%. The only difference is going to be the small things between maybe income, health, like what they're telling medications, how much money they make, maybe the beneficiary, maybe the why. It might be for final expenses, it might be to leave money behind, but everything else is exactly the same. If you guys record me for every conversation, when I get to think of like a timestamp, I told Maurice yesterday, I was like, do you guys only watch a video or YouTube video? On the bottom, it has timestamps and it tells you this is the topic when you're talking, you guys should timestamp your scripts where, okay, after I ask about the rent, I'm going to ask if you died yesterday, what's that actually look like today for your family? Pause. Just wait. Let them begin to answer. Let them begin to tell you what's actually happening. You can assume, you want to be assumptive, assume the sale at all times, but don't answer for them. There's a very big difference between being assumptive and answering the client's question. So when I asked Marysa, if God forbid something happened to you yesterday, what's it look like today for your family? I'm not now going to say, oh, are you going to be, are they going to go to the bank and take out money, blah, blah. No, I'm going to let them answer. I want to know what they're truly going to say. And if the wife's there, guys, and the wife starts talking, or the husband, just say you passed away yesterday, you can't talk. I want to know what your wife's true reason answer is going to be. And you guys would be surprised how many people don't know what that looks like because they never thought of it. They just have never took the time to actually think of it. And just going back to confidence, when you call on the phone, guys, and you're confident in your speech, when you can enunciate and pronounce words properly, and I get it, I can mumble and I talk fast with you guys because you guys are the team, you guys are my friends, I don't mind. But with my client, I'm slowing down, I'm making sure they can understand every single word that I'm saying. If I need to pronounce my words in a different way, I'm going to. I'm going to say things differently to make sure they can actually hear me and know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to call and say life insurance fast. I'm not going to call and say underwriter fast and take my time and say I'm getting back to what the request that you had made on Facebook for veteran life insurance options. You put down your branch of service as the Army, and I have your date of birth as August 5, 91. I keep on going through my script. Just make sure, guys, again, to be confident in the way you're speaking. Just keep a strong tonality and have a good cadence. And if you guys can do that with everything we just discussed, it's going to give you guys much, much better results compared to what you guys are experiencing right now. Because the biggest thing on the phones, guys, is mastering the first 30 seconds. And all that comes back to is believing in yourself, having the proper resources, which we do have on the team, tons of good resources and leads, and most importantly, just the belief, right? To call and read the script. So that's what I'll leave you guys with when it comes down to, the activity, dialing, tonality, and cadence. And again, mastering the sales process just really means being cookie cut, right? When you master the sales process, you have to introduce who you are. That's when we talk about grab a pen and paper. My name and my last name and my NPN. What's that mean? It's my national producer number. Why are you giving me it? Because it ties me to the Department of Insurance. It's how you know you're talking to a licensed and active insurance agent. Don't be afraid to say that, guy. It made a request about life insurance or agents. So I say that, and then go through your role and purpose. When you go through the role and purpose, you're saying at the table. You're making sure that no matter what happens, you're overcoming all the objections ahead of the curve. Because when you tell somebody, I'm going to talk about your health, I'm going to ask you financial questions, I'm going to find something that fits your needs and budget, and I'm not going to make you insurance poor, then I tell you have to qualify for it. Then I tell you it takes three to 5 days. They understand that. They're not going to object me about income. They're not going to object me when I ask medications. They're not going to tell me I'm not going to give you this information. They understand it. And the reason why it's all just, again, mastering the sales process by knowing the scripts, going through it, and asking the hard questions, or the power questions, as we call it. What's that look like if you passed away yesterday? Who's picking up the pieces? Where are they going to find the money? And what does that actually look like for your family? And asking it to the husband and wife if they're both there. And making sure that you're not throwing that sporadically in the script. I recommend everybody, after you guys asking the script, do you mortgage or do you rent? Everyone should ask right away, if you died yesterday, what's that look like for your family today? On the script where it says the GoFundMe sentence, and it says, I assume like most veterans, you want to make sure that you don't want to be a burden on your family. Before that sentence, I would implore all of you to add on there, if you died yesterday, what's that look like for your family today? And then pause and don't talk. If they say they don't know, lead, guide, and direct. Okay, sir, if you died yesterday, what's it actually look like? You have rent, you have bills, you have you have other bills to pay for. Those don't go away when you die. Income does, but the bills stay there. How does your family take care of a two-income household on one income? And let them talk. And guys, at that one little question, what's that look like if you died yesterday, has saved me so many sales. Because I know the days when Marysa told me, hey, say that, and I didn't. I lost a sale so easily. And I'm face to face, guys, in the field at this point. When you're face to face, it's hard to mess up a sale because you're at someone's house at the kitchen table. And then when you don't say it, they don't build value. They don't trust you, right? They don't think they need it. Now it becomes a want, not a necessity. And insurance, guys, is a necessity. And we all gonna die. And we all need extra money, right? Even all of us killing it. We need extra, right? Everyone needs money. So in our reality, just make sure you're asking the power question. And if you're thinking, all right, where do I add the other ones? When you're going through income and then you're asking social security benefit for husband and wife, educate your clients. Make exactly need-based business 1,000%. And make sure you guys are educating. They'll lose highest of two socials. Pensions don't transfer 100%. If they tell you my pension is going to transfer 100%, they're lying to you. That's not the case. They have to actually sign up for it and pick option B or option C. And typically the employer doesn't even offer that. So typically it's 40% or 40 or 60% of the pension. When you can educate clients on that, now you just told them, hey, you're losing all this income. What happens? And that's what I'm asking. What's your estimated monthly income after taxes? They tell me it. I break it down: disability rating, social, the whole nine, retirement, pensions, 401k, IRA. The reason, guys, on the inventory, it has all those. Not only to use it against them, but to see what they actually have in place. Now, when I figure out, okay, they have nothing, and now all that money's gone, I tell the client that. I say, guys, what are you going to do when that money goes away? And now, guys, you're building need. You're building value. You're not being surface level. You're not transactional. You're not just going through a script and autopilot, saying basic word tracks and hoping that they're on the same page as you. You have to explain it to the client and really paint the picture. Guys, stories sell. Paint the picture, and the story will sell itself. And I mean that. And the biggest thing I want to leave right toss off to Marysa is going to be I want you guys to ask the beneficiary's information. Always say that name. Do not, once you get the name of the person, let's say it's Mary, always say this protection is for Mary. We're putting this in place for Mary to make sure if anything happens to you, Bob, Mary can pay the funeral because you just told me. Once you pass, you know your income's going to go with you. You have no life insurance outside of $5,000 policy at work. And you told me that you made this request because you need extra insurance. You already have some, but you know you need more. So we're going to go ahead and add the extra coverage for Mary. So I know how important this is for your family. And guys, when you start talking that terminology, that lexicon, that verbiage, it's going to help. The client's going to understand, they're going to trust you. They're going to actually feel like you're advocating for the client, not selling them. And that's why top producers, guys, sell pretty easily because we just know how to connect with the client and build the value by painting the picture. We don't have any special word track. We don't have any secret sauce. It's none of that. We're just confident, and we know that when we talk to the client, they need it. They filled the request out. They wouldn't be answering my phone call if they didn't. So all we have to do at that point in time is figure, open the picture, or open the box, look at the pieces, and see what pieces need to be fixed. Pick the piece up, show it to the client, and say, "Hey, this is the piece needs to be fixed. But here's a solution. I got the tape right here. I got whatever you need to fix it." And for us guys, that's the insurance. And of course, the problem is when someone dies, they need stability financially to make sure they can cover any expense needed. And now Marysa's going to talk to you guys about basically mashing the tie down. Because a lot of us on the call, I feel like struggling in doing so, and definitely handling lapses and cancel and handling lapses. Because lapses are really a big thing in the business. And Marisa, I think you can touch on that regarding the lapses and mastering the tie down. So I know that you taught me how important it was to master the tie down.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, in the phone script, raise your hand if you've ever been no-showed for an appointment. Everybody, right? Everybody that's ever made an appointment's been no-showed, right? Guys, here's what I'll say. There's going to be a specific, there's going to be a couple of people who are serious about an appointment, okay, right? And then there's going to be most other people who are just trying to get you off the phone. You need to be able to differentiate that, right? Like if I answer the phone and I'm like, hello, and then all of a sudden I'm busy and there's no noise in the background. I'm 78 and I'm retired. It's like, hey, Rami, do you just not want the coverage? Or like, are you out and about? It's okay to ask somebody that because you don't want to trick your brain into, wow, I have 12 appointments later. And it's actually 12 people who really aren't interested. But you were like, that's exactly why I'm calling. We just go ahead and schedule appointments. And they're like, I'm just not going to answer later. And then you hang up and they block your number. And you're like, okay, Rami, I'll talk to you tonight at 7. Or you guys are like, guys, I did this in the beginning. That's why I know what it feels like on both sides of the coin. What time? Okay, well, what time will you be available? Okay, what time will you be home? Well, what time is good for you? Okay, no, 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 you're busy. If you have nothing on your calendar, you're busy. If you don't appear busy, I promise you no one's buying from you. No one trusts you. No, they're like, why are they not busy? Why am I the only person they've been calling all day? Like, no, 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 no. It's here's what we're gonna do, Rami. This is important to you. I know you're out and about right now. It's Stop and Shop, right?
Yes, I'm great on grocery
Okay.
shopping. Grocery
I know
shopping.
you're grocery shopping. So, but Rami, this is something that's really important to you.
Yeah, it's been on my mind
Okay.
recently. I was having trouble sleeping.
Okay, well, you have trouble sleeping. Wow, that's great. Okay, well, we'll wrap that up tonight. You're gonna sleep great. So, Rami, that being said, I know you're at the grocery store. I could squeeze you in this afternoon. I could squeeze you in at about, let's see, 4:30, or it would be a bit tight, but I could do about 5:30. What time's better?
I think 5:30 is good. I have some time to settle in.
5:30. All right. Now, Rami, I know you're in the grocery store, but do you have a pen and paper handy?
I don't.
Okay. All right. And this is obviously your cell phone because we're talking on it at the grocery store.
Yep, it
Guys,
is.
I'm doing this on purpose. I want to be like really, I'm doing this on purpose, right? Obviously, we're on your cell phone because you're at the grocery store. Meaning, like, obviously, you get text messages and voicemails because it's your cell phone, right? So,
I do.
okay, so Rami, here's what I'm gonna do. Again, my name's Marysa Maggio, and you said 4:30 would be best, right?
No, 5:30.
5:30. Okay, my apologies. So, Rami, I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze you in about 5:30. Again, my name is Marysa Maggio, and I will be giving you a call here for my direct line. Now, when we hang up, Rami, because you don't have that pen and paper handy, I'm going to call you back. Forward me to your voicemail. On your voicemail, I'm going to leave all my important information, such as my name and the date and time of the appointment, okay?
All right, sounds fair to me.
And Rami, last thing before I let you go, are you good with keeping your appointments?
Yes, I am.
All right, perfect. Just 'cause I'm really busy. I have about 12 other veterans I have to speak with today, so I look forward to speaking with you at 5:30.
Thank you. Me as well. Take care.
Take care. Okay, now I'm going to call Rami back and I'm going to leave a voicemail. And this is what it's going to sound like. Hey, Rami, this is Marysa. We just spoke in regards to your appointment for tonight, Thursday, April 23rd at 5:30 p.m. to go over your veteran life insurance coverage. Again, my first name is Marysa. That's Marysa. My last name is Maggio. That's Maggio. And I'm going to be giving you a call here for my direct line at 607-778-9615. I do look forward to speaking with you tonight at 5:30 p.m. Take care. Now, what that's doing for me as an agent, sure, it's on his voicemail. Now, if he's 78 years old, he might not listen to it. That's okay. But what it's doing is it's allowing my phone and his phone to know each other. Okay. And when my phone and his phone know each other, that's a good thing because it's probably not going to pop up as spam. It's going to pop up as Marysa Maggio, or it's going to pop up as Boston, Mass, or whatever number I'm calling the client from. Now, on the other side of that, guys, if you are booking an appointment, now, Rami, if I can just use you on the tie down.
Yeah.
When you are booking an appointment, now Rami's like, I'm walking out the door. He doesn't have time right now. Okay, all right, got it. So Rami, I usually work off an appointment only basis anyways. What I can do, I can squeeze you in later today about 4:30, or it'll be tough at about 5:30. What time is better for you?
4:30 is fine.
4:30. All right. So Rami, I'm going to squeeze you in about 4:30. Just grab a pen and paper. I'm just going to give you some quick information about myself that you'll need for that appointment.
1 second.
Yep. Let me know whenever you're ready.
All right, I got it.
All right. My first name is Marysa, and that's spelled Marysa.
Okay.
And my last name is Maggio. That's Maggio. And guys, I'm going very slow when I'm doing this. I want to be clear. And I do have you on my calendar for tonight, Thursday, April 23rd at 4:30 p.m. And Rami,
Yes,
I
that's
just
correct.
kindly ask you for, like a 15-minute window, just in case the veteran before you has a couple of extra questions. Might be running a few minutes early, might be running a few minutes late, okay?
Yeah, it's no
And
problem.
I'll be giving you a call here for my direct line, which is 607-778-9615. And Rami, could you just repeat that number back to me just so I know you have it?
Yeah, 607-778-9615. And we have you
Okay,
down
perfect.
for 4:30, I think, right?
4:30, yes. So about 4:30, I'll be giving you a call. And Rami, last thing before I let you go, are you good with keeping your appointments?
Yes.
All right, great. So am I. I'll talk to you at 5:30.
Sounds good.
Now, the probability of Rami answering is not 100%, but it's a lot higher than it would be if we're just like, okay, I'll talk to you at 4:30. It's like, guys, that doesn't work. Now, what I will say that I took from Dominique's call last week and that I have also kind of taken here and there, a lot of us will just be like, okay, guys, when are you and Susan usually home together? And they're like after 5. And then we're just simply noting after 5 o'clock. That way, you know, when you call them and you're trying to one call close, call after 5. They're home together. Things like that, guys. But outside of appointments, we're going to talk about tying down a sale. So you just help the client. You want to make sure that no one goes behind you and messes up your business that you worked really hard for on the phone, help them sign it. You know, the text sign was hard for them and you still got them through it. Okay. So at the end, it's going to sound something like this. And Rami, I'm going to ask you to role play with me if you don't mind. All right. Now, Rami, so do you want the good news or the bad news?
I'll give the bad news first. I always
Well,
get
the
bad
bad
news.
news is, Rami, because this is a permanent policy, you're stuck with me for life. Because the good news is you were approved for that coverage. So congratulations.
Okay, it's not bad news. All right, perfect.
All right, perfect. Now, Rami, I do want to make sure that you have my information. I know when we started talking, I'd given you my first and last name. Do you still have that piece of paper or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect. Next to my name, I'm going to have you go ahead and write down my phone number. It's the same one I texted you from. It's 607-778-9615.
Okay.
And also, Rami, you will notice that you've been enrolled into something called Legacy Safeguard. You'll see all my contact information when you receive it, but it's essentially going to give you access to different discounts on wills, estates, different things that people may need once you pass on. So it's a great thing to have. Now, guys, I sent Legacy Safeguard out because I think it's great. Okay, now I'm talking to y'all, like not talking to Rami, right? Like I send Legacy Safeguard out to everybody because when it goes there, whose information does it have on it? Mine. Who are they most likely to call back about life insurance? Me. Now, if I don't send it, but Rami calls Susan and Rami sends it, Susan might get confused and then call Rami for insurance. It sounds silly, guys, but you need to make sure your client knows who you are. So, okay, so I have Rami write down my name. I let him know I'm sending him the Legacy Safeguard. He'll probably get that in the mail in the next week or so. Now, Rami, once you get that in the mail, can you give me a call and let me know or shoot me a text?
Yeah, I can choose text. I'll give you a call as well.
All right, perfect. And again, you know, you're approved with the Marico. Your policy number is 123-456-789.
Okay.
You will see that first draft in the next 24 to 72 hours, Rami. And just like I mentioned, it's going to reoccur on the 23rd of the month thereafter, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. And Rami, I'm always trying to get better at what I do. On a scale of 1 to 10, how I'm always trying to get better with what I do, Rami. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think I did my job today?
I say 15.
15. All right. Wow. No one's ever ranked me that high. So thank you so much. So nothing I could improve on.
No, nothing at all. You've been great. You've helped protect my family. You made it easy. It's affordable. You made it make sense. It's comfortable. No, I'm very satisfied with the service today. Thank you so much.
All right. That's great to hear. And thank you so much for the kind words. And last thing before I let you go, Rami, and probably one of the most important things, a lot of my clients have been getting calls. People say odd things, Rami, like they're my boss, they're my manager, your file's been flagged for a review, or your insurance coverage is no longer in place. I would be the only person reaching out to you regarding this policy. So if anyone else calls you, Rami, give them my phone number and tell them to call me with any questions they have. Because Rami, they're probably trying to put you in a bad spot or they're lying about who they are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, guys, I've had clients say, no, like, what do you mean? Like, people like, and I explain it. I'm not gonna, at this point, I'm like face mask, like pulling it in. I didn't just work with Rami for an hour and a half to help his family so that, you know, Javon calls tomorrow and is like, your file's been flagged for review. And then, you know, the application's rewritten because
Taking
they're like,
that
oh,
business.
they're exactly. Guys, when you can just add these small little things at the end, it changes everything. And then at the end, we're like, I'm going to tell them, okay, Rami, when we hang up, you're going to get a text message from me. It's going to recap the appointment. I just kindly ask that you save me in your phone. I never want you to feel like you're looking for me and you can't find me. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I look forward to speaking with you here in the near future. Make it a great day. Boom. Get off the phone. I send them a recap text message and I say in the message, text me back that you saved me in your phone. And they'll be like, saved you. And if not, later on the night, I'll emphasize the message. And guys, I do that to protect my business. I do that because if Larry's going to get mad that I asked him to save me in his phone, which would be really weird, okay? Like, I don't know what to tell them. But my point is, guys, is your clients typically want to have your number, but there sometimes just needs to be a little bit more of a reiteration there. Okay. Like, hey, I need you to save me. I need you to save me. Here's 18 reasons why. But my point is you take that extra 5 minutes at the end, it goes miles. Like that's going to save, in my opinion, I don't know, at least minimum, Rami, 10% of your business, minimum. Like that's like on the low end. I'd
Yeah.
say more like 15 to 20%. So
Mhm.
it's like, if you don't want things falling off left, right, up, and down, which none of us want that, then this is some things you can do to avoid it. Of course, it's inevitable. There's going to be cancellations, guys, but let's get that as low as we can. That's always the goal, persistency high. And then the last thing we're going to hit on is handling lapses. Now, guys, when I say lapse, all I mean by that is for whatever reason, the policy is no longer going to be in force if they don't pay it. They might have called and canceled. They might have had the bank go insufficient funds. There could be 1,000 reasons why something would go into a lapse state. Now, if you do not call your client, you will not save that policy. And quite honestly, in my opinion, you don't deserve to save the policy. Most lapses that happen, from my experience, are usually like, oh, my bad, the bank account was off one digit. Or like, I changed my bank because I got, some fraudulent thing happened 3 months back and I forgot about the insurance. But the people you don't call are never going to get back on the books. So calling people, and what that sounds like for me, if I wrote Rami a policy and it falls off, it's going to sound like ring, ring, and this is going to be in the morning. And if you don't answer in the morning, I'm going to leave him a message that I'm very concerned. Rami answers. He's like, hello. I'm like, hey, Rami, it's Marysa, your insurance agent. How are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm doing good. I was actually just giving you a call. I got a really concerning email. It looks like your policy's not in effect. Are you aware of that? And he's
No,
going
I
to,
actually didn't know that.
no, you didn't. Okay. All right.
No.
So, Rami, it looks like the bank draft was returned. I just want to double check your routing and account number with you. Can you grab that for me?
Sure. Give me 1 second.
All right.
All right, I got it.
Okay, so what I have down on the application is 211-070-175.
Yes.
Okay, and I have the account as 123-459.
Yep, that's accurate.
Okay, is there just not money in the account right now, Rami?
Yeah, I think I gave you an account that I leave money in sometimes. An old pension goes in there, and I just I gave that account file. I forgot to move money over. I think maybe I had enough for 3 payments. I probably forgot to put some money in there or transfer money.
Okay, Rami, so that's not like your main bank account.
No, no, I have a few of them. No, like I said, it's an old account that just have some pensions get goes into. But yeah, no, I don't think I transferred money into that account. So it's
Okay,
actually
so
it's
Rami, I'm just going to be really transparent with you because I know how important the coverage was for you. I know how important it was for you to protect your mom, Nada. So I just want to make sure that the funds are always there. So Rami, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and get your main bank account that you use and put that on file. That way we never have to worry about you pay into this for 8, 9 months or 8, 9 years, and then it goes out of force. That would be the last thing I want for you and your family. So what bank are we going to be updating it to?
let me go get TD Bank. That's my bank.
All right, perfect. And then we would just update the bank, guys. But if you don't call, you're never going to get that. And for me, like, I don't know, like 75 to 85% of my lapses are something with the bank, right? Is it comfortable? No. But why did you sit on the phone with them for 45 minutes, an hour and a half, 2.5 hours just to go get a charge back? That doesn't, it will never make sense to me. Now, you're also going to have people who are like, okay, I can't afford it. I just couldn't afford it. It was too much, blah, blah, blah. Okay, got it. Understand. I know how important this was to you to protect, Christina, if something were to happen to you. So here's what we can do, Rami. We can go ahead and instead of looking at that 15,000, we could drop it down to 10,000 for only 50 a month. Or we could drop it down to, like 7,000 for just about 35 a month. Would one of
Yeah,
those fit better in the budget?
the 10,000 I think is better. If you reduce 10,000, I'm more comfortable.
Okay, perfect. So, guys, adjusting the coverage, right? It's not like we can't have this all or nothing thinking. Like it has to be all in or they're gonna just cancel it. Sometimes people can't afford it. They got trigger happy, buyer's remorse, whatever you want to call it, okay? But they need the insurance. They need it. If they didn't need it, you wouldn't have wrote them the policy. So if you don't believe they need it, don't write the policy, right? If you believe it's going to be a chargeback, don't write the policy. Um, and just understanding that we have portals for every single company. Guys, I get emails every single day. You guys get emails every single day from the carriers. Some of them, sure, are marketing emails, but the ones that are like canceled, you need to open those with love. You need to open them. You need to check your back office. If you don't know how to do those things, ask your manager, call the carrier. Guys, I talked when my first year in insurance in the IMO world, I talked to the carriers 100 times more than I talked to my upline. And that's just because I was trying to familiarize myself with the processes. Not in an overwhelming way, not in like I need to know how to like be the IT person at Transamerica, but in a way of understanding where can I find my lapse policies? Where can I find something that's, the bank's missing? Like, where can I find that? And once you know where to find that, it's really hard to come up with an excuse as to why you didn't call the client outside of I just didn't want to call the client.
100%.
So yeah, if you need to know anything about portals, reach out to your upline, reach out to the carrier, but know how to log into your portals, know how to check your business because this is exactly that, your business. So all in all, guys, if you treat this like a business, you will get paid like a business owner. If you don't treat it